Which celebrity do you suspect is pure evil in private? Dr. Phil for sure. There was an episode in the early 2000s featuring the mother of a missing girl named Natalie Holloway. They claimed to have confessions from the killers on tape. He showed that poor mother a completely edited conversation with the suspected murders that made it seem like a true confession. Later on they were called out on straight up lying and editing the tape. Not to mention all those countless teenagers he sent to outdoor rehabilitation bullshit. The horror stories that have come out of those rehabs is disgusting. He doesn't care about these people at all. Their profits to him. Dr. Phil is even worse than you think and you probably think he sucks. https://www.iheart.com podcast/105 Behind the Bastards 29,236,323/episode part 1 Dr. Phil is even 82,410,850. Jeffree Star. He is pure evil in public too. Hopefully Ghislaine Maxwell will give us the full list before she kills herself. Find you a woman who supports your dreams. Jeffrey Epstein. Kylie Jenner. Making billions while not paying poor garment workers in Bangladesh. Oof, I guess that's a secret. Steven Seagal. For starters, he's creepy and scary even on TV and LN interviews. He's not scary in like a big softy way, but a creepy teacher way. IDK if he is controversy already. But it really feels like he does. Dr. Phil. Porcine beady-eyed sociopath. The sicker they are the more he dives in. J-Lo. I've heard she is super demanding and shitty towards her help. I've heard this too. I knew a girl who worked for one of the big luxury fashion stores in New York and said J-Lo and A-Rod were the worst celebrities they ever had to deal with. Jared Leto. Oprah Winfrey. I used to work for a private aircraft company and had the mispleasure of having Oprah on a charter flight. We were used to having a lot of difficult and diva clients, but Oprah was, far and away, the worst and most difficult client we had ever had. She was so difficult and high maintenance that the CEO told us she was not welcome back on another flight. So future requests from her team were met with schedule conflicts on our end. Bill Cos. Oh, never mind. Cosplayer. Pretty much most internet influencers. Tom Cruise. Who I wouldn't be surprised if it came to light that he was a serial killer and was involved in sex trafficking. Something about him just seems so fake and off. Well, he is a Scientologist, Sue. Tyra Banks. Yeah, she sometimes seemed genuinely unstable on and just had these occasional weird aggressive moments for no reason. Mark Zuckerberg. They said in secret. Deleted. Thanks for adding not the Khan Academy guy, you made me nervous. Chrissy Teigen. Not a secret. She tried to convince a teenage bride who was being abused to kill herself on Twitter repeatedly for like several years. Then fake apologized and cried about being cancelled for being a monster. We had a chat about what if David Attenborough was actually evil and as soon as the cameras were off he'd go and shave pandas, kick baby penguins across the ice and punch sea turtles right in their turtly faces for fun. It was very upsetting to think about. When my dad was a teacher in the early 90s, he worked at school with pretty rough work class background. One of his students wrote to David just asking for advice when it comes to getting into natural history as a career. She hears nothing for weeks until a letter arrives back. David wrote to her a beautifully handwritten 8-page reply full of advice and just discussing his experience in the field. I think James Corden. Oh wait. He's not evil. He's just a talentless twat. I am here to just read tea about celebrities. Duh man. I'm aware he's not quite a celebrity, but still, something's really off about him. You'll instantly regret saying this. Deleted. Every time one of her tweets pops up in my feed, I reply with a joke about how she throws water bottles at her assistants. It sustains me, the same way that throwing water bottles at her assistants apparently sustains Ellen. Armie Hammer is allegedly a cannibal, which must have made failing the audition for the role of Hannibal Lecter particularly disappointing. Sorry, we just don't buy you as a cannibal. Funny you should say that. Joel Osteen. Michelle Duggar. I've always been suspicious of Jim Bob. I have a feeling he has worse skeletons in his closet than Josh. Just better at not getting caught. Steve Harvey. Lord, give us back Bernie Mac and we'll give you Steve Harvey. Leah Michelle. Mean girl vibes for sure. Gwyneth Paltrow. Because of her goop products that are actually bad for health and she is still promoting them to people. Shove this jade egg up your gooch for reasons. Demi Lovato. Dan get in the van Schneider. There's a YouTuber named Slow4n that has a long series going in detail about all the sketchy shit Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon in general have pulled with all the child actors, and it's actually fucking terrible when you look into it. It's definitely worth a watch. Just to add to it, Nickelodeon should be up there as one of the most evil companies ever, as they have multiple known pedophiles in their team, and even Ray employed them after getting out of jail for molesting kids on the Nickelodeon sets. Edit. Well, thanks for the upvote, sis. Blew the F up. Red heart. Drake. Drake the type of fella to sleep in a race car shaped bed. My sister is a paramedic, and she is often sent to watch over big singers and secure the area in case of an emergency. She gets to meet a lot of them behind the scenes before the big show. Most of them are arrogant and full of themselves. She tells me terrible stories about how the singers have zero respect for their audience, even though they wouldn't exist without them. Sorry for the terrible English. Graham Norton told a story about a singer or actress, I think singer, he had on his show who asked for 9 dressing rooms. And later the assistant came and asked for another dressing room so the singer could use it to charge her phone in there. He never revealed the name though. A lot of wacky divas out there. Jeff Bezos. Seer. Entrepreneur. Born in 1964. Jeffrey Bezos. You guys make me Google shit that has no place in my search history. Any celebrity that's in Scientology. Deleted. Dr. Phil. The way he handles kids, sending them to abusive care facilities, and how in a lot of his cases he does more harm than good for the kids. Like the old boomer beat your kids mentality with just enough psychobabble to be dangerous and most of the time wrong. He doesn't even have a license to practice. His whole show is just him profiting off mentally ill people. Jennifer Lopez. Mario Lopez. He's all love and light on Instagram, but he's a sneaky, selfish, manipulative person that consistently treats the crew around him like trash. Unfortunately, I don't suspect this. I've seen it firsthand. I'm constantly surprised when I meet people that think there is anything nice about him. He's a slimeball. He cheated on his wife on their honeymoon. You can tell he's a douchebag just by looking at him. Steve Jobs. Probably controversial opinion, but read about Apple Lisa. He told the mother of his first child he had had a vasectomy and therefore the child couldn't be his. She had to support herself and the baby alone and ended up moving to a commune. All while he was raking in the dough. Naming the computer the name of the child he denied fathering and starting a new family, with children. It irks me that we put such a terrible man on a pedestal. Steve Jobs was a genuinely terrible person. I hate the deification that he appreciates after he passed. He was not a nice man and stole most of the ideas that he so-called invented. He was a modern Thomas Edison in the regard that most of the things he's famous for he did not invent. IDK James Franco gives me weird vibes. He was caught creeping on underage girls, wasn't he? Something shady about acting classes he ran where he made girls do sex scenes too. I 100% believe Tom Cruise is a serial killer and Scientology provides him his victims and covers it up. Deleted. This is the smallest amount of power I've ever seen go to someone's head. Madonna. I don't think Madonna is a real person anymore. She has been a succession of characters for so long there is nothing left. Does anyone remember Anishan? Okay. But this is supposed to be in private. For is evil in public. Adam Levine. He was here in Chile and was a huge scandal in all the news cause he started insulting the audience and walk off the stage. Andrew Wakefield. He conducted a fake study with falsified data for lawyers who paid him to make a study proving that the MMR vaccine was causing autism, which is false. He also tried to use the scare caused by his study to sell his own vaccine and to sell fake tests for a disease he invented in his fake study. He performed dangerous operations on children without the informed consent of their parents. He's one of the biggest reason the modern anti-vax movement exists. Children died because of him. Nicki Minaj. She married a pedophile rapist and then tried to sue the girl who turned her husband in for rape. She's a cunt. Edit. Oh, and her brother is always a rapist, and she backed him on that shit by defending him. This bitch is pure evil. And she tried to influence her fans to not get a vaccine based on her cousin's friend's balls. Neutral face. What's the over-under on how many times Tom Cruise gets mentioned? 30? My dad used to fly private jets and he said Mariah Carey was by far the most stuck-up, demanding celebrity he ever flew. He said she came up to the cockpit during takeoff and bitched them out about how the limes in her drink went perfect 1/8s. They aborted takeoff, turned around, and kicked her ass off. Edit. The cherry on top is that they did cut the lime in 1/8s for her. She was mad that they went perfect 1/8s. I wish celebrities who act all entitled when they gain fame and money would be automatically universally cancelled. Like, the whole of mankind just instantly treats them like an ordinary person. It annoys me how much attitude they get with. Kenneth Copeland. I thought this one was out in the open. Dr. Oz. Legit genius doctor who scams ignorant people for his own profit. It's not private. He's publicly horrendous. Ellen. Dr. Phil. Would honestly not be surprised if he has any allegations against him. And Karl Malone never acknowledged him as his son ever. The only child he abandoned that he acknowledged was a daughter who made it to the 1 bar. Edit. He had 7 children and abandoned 3 of them just to clear that up. Plus he impregnated a 12-year-old at 20 or something like that. Andy Dick. Tom Cruise.